Hey guys, Stay Patient here. It is the 18th of December, and welcome to this week's edition of the PlayStation Trophy Hunters update. Now, you may have noticed I uploaded a video, uploaded it yesterday and edited it, added all the guides and everything into the description today. So I've been quite busy over this weekend. That was my first video from the sort of 2016 Trophy Awards that I'm running. It's the easiest and fastest platinums from this year, and there are 25 games in the final list, all of which can be completed in 5 hours or less. Most of you have probably seen the video already. And then there's some honourable mentions as well. Now, like I say, that's kind of taken up a lot of my time this weekend, and I've also today just recorded and I'm about to upload the review of the current deal. I've already forgotten what it was. FIFA, that was it. The current Christmas deal. I've also done a bit of a review for the Battlefield deal that's part of the kind of weekend sales. And so I've been pretty swamped. It's been a very busy few weeks, and it still is. I'm kind of right in the midst of probably the busiest period I've ever had. Through the trophy service, what I do for a living from day to day, it's been the busiest it's ever been, and it still is. I've got tons to do on that, and I've had all this content to do, so I'm not as prepared. This is why I'm saying this now, is because I'm not quite as prepared as I normally would be for this weekly show. But we are, of course, going to be taking a look through the list as always. There are a couple of games that I'm going to talk about that I do have more information on. But before we start, I'm going to just give a shout out to Corn Shack. He's another channel. I'm going to link his subscribe button at the end of this video. Now, he runs a similar channel to mine. He's been doing so for longer than I have, but obviously he stumbled across my weekly video, this series here that we're doing today, and he liked the idea of it. So he's taken it on board to kind of do his own version. He's putting his own spin on it. So I wanted to give a shout out for you guys to check that out. Obviously, you enjoy this kind of content if you're watching this video and this series. So if you feel like another take on some of the week's releases and, the upcoming releases, the trophies especially, he's running a very similar show that might give you just another angle on some of the games, and might just be something else that you'll enjoy. The other thing to mention as well is that he also does a lot of Let's Plays and reviews of the easy platinums. So if you're watching my show and there's a game that we speak about and you think, maybe you want to see a bit more about it, usually I do share some trailers. I'm not going to today because I just simply haven't had time to download any. But, if you see any games that I talk about or you like the sound of them and you kind of, your curiosity makes you want to see how they look, how they play, maybe see a review of the game itself to see if it's any good and if it's worth you buying, then jump across to Corn Shack's channel, and he may well have exactly what you're looking for, some gameplay, a review, whatever, He's not able to cover every single game that comes out, of course, but he does focus on the very kind of games that we look for in this list, so I think the two channels will be able to kind of complement each other quite well. So yeah, have a look at that and click the subscribe link at the end of this video. I will apologise as well if I come across quite tired in this video. Maybe my eyes, I don't know if the camera's sort of good enough quality to pick it up, but my eyes are just like red from tiredness. Partly because I've been working so hard and staying up really late every night trying to get everything done, and partly because yesterday my sister's gotten really ill and she's staying with us at the moment, so she was up most of the night coughing. So that kind of kept the whole family up. And this morning I'm just like a zombie. No one's fault, but hopefully I can catch up with some work and get a bit of R&R at some point this year. But saying that, we've only got less than 2 weeks left of 2016. That's insane. Anyway, let's do this because I think the show's probably going to be a bit shorter than usual. Around this time of year, you don't get as many releases. Because obviously the last couple months of the year are really busy, but then like literally the week or two right before Christmas aren't going to be that busy because it just wouldn't make sense to release games around that time. So we've got a lot of kind of I don't know if you'd call it shovelware exactly, but we've got a lot of non-platinum games, a lot of little PSN like mini downloadable titles and stuff. We don't have a lot of big things releasing this week or next week. So, there's not going to be a huge amount to talk about today, which is a bit of a relief, like I say, because everything's starting to get a bit on top of me, but we'll get there. We'll make it through. So we're here, on the list on PSN profiles, of course. We talked about most of this last week. The first thing I mentioned, which I don't think we noticed last week, maybe we did, my mind's failing me, but Motor Strike Immortal Legends, this is, it doesn't look like an easy plat. There are 2 versions of it though, which is what I was going to mention. I thought it was going to be an easy plat, and maybe it will end up being straightforward, but going by people's experience with it so far, or at least the percentages, this one's only had 4 players. I don't think it's sort of Japanese or anything. I'm guessing it's going to be one from Europe and one from America. That's usually the case, unless, you can usually tell if it's Japanese because you'll have Japanese characters spelling out the descriptions of the trophies. But what was it called again? It was... Crumbs, I'm forgetting. Is it Motor Strike? Sorry, Motor Storm's that's a much better series, isn't it? All right, I thought we had more people playing it. Maybe I'm thinking of another game. Okay, so we've got 2 versions. It looks like it's struggling to keep up. Usually, this site doesn't update that often. So at the moment, we've got 1 person playing it supposedly, but 2 people have played it recently. So, it's very difficult to get any feedback on that at the moment. But, no one's... It's obviously not a super fast, easy plat, because the 1 or 2 people who have picked it up have got like 1% of the trophies. It looks crazy. So it might just be long-winded. In fact, we'll take another look, because we did look through this last week. I just want to remind myself... Oh yeah, this is the one that looked like it might have been really grindy, because you had to kill like thousands of minions and stuff. And there's obviously online stuff. So probably because there's only a couple people playing it, they're struggling to get online races anyway. Maybe they've got it early. I don't know the release date of this game. Oh, pardon me. Motor Strike Immortal... What's it? Immortal Legends. I doubt there's going to be a release date necessarily. I still haven't figured out how to turn these notifications off, because you guys are probably going to see a lot of them pop up on screen throughout this video. And in fact, some of you watching this will see your own comments popping up from the previous video, which is going to be a bit weird. But let's have a look at releases.com. Okay, it's UK 15th of December. So if that's correct, it has been out for a few days. What I was wondering is it might have been that some people had got it early. Maybe they were part of the development team and they played it a bit but not earned any trophies. In fact, that might still be the case. But it has come out, so, maybe people are struggling to get matches online or, races online. Anyway, there's not really a lot to go on with that one. The other game we spoke about last week is Trove. Now, I wanted to just reiterate this because it's not really anything to do with it being an easy plat, although it might well be. It's just the fact that it actually looks really good. We looked at a trailer last week, and it was the one, if you remember, it was the one that looks a lot like Minecraft, but it's an MMO. And voxel, in fact, there's a word, voxel, I wanted to look up. This is obviously referring to the visual or like mechanical style. I wanted to look at a description of it. Let's have a look. In computer-based modeling or graphic simulation, each of an array of elements of volume that constitute a notional three-dimensional space, especially each of an array of discrete elements into which a representation of a three-dimensional object is divided. Okay, so I don't really fully understand what that means, but I'm guessing maybe there's some pictures on this site. Right, okay, so it looks like, yeah, three-dimensional objects. Maybe objects are made up of smaller objects, so that's why you've got the Minecraft effect, where it's basically cubes of different colors or different materials. So yeah, that's why it looks like Minecraft. So technically, it might not actually be linked with Minecraft in any way. They may not have had to, get the permission to make this game from the Minecraft guys, because it's obviously just a style of creation. I mean, there is a lot of very clear similarities to Minecraft, because you build stuff, you craft stuff, you break stuff down to get elements and crafting and building supplies. But yeah, it does look pretty cool. I've read some people's feedback on it, because some people played it on Steam and they were kind of hoping and waiting for a console release because they just felt like playing it on console. I'm pretty sure it is out on Steam. I read a similar kind of forum on this and also on Stardew Valley, and both of them sound like they've got a lot of support and a lot of love. It does look grindy, and there might be some trophies that could be difficult depending on the game, but I haven't played it at all on PC, so I don't know firsthand. But it just looks cool. It looks fun. It looks quite simple, but with like a lot of leveling and stuff, a lot of co-op play. It looks like it kind of strips back the idea of an MMORPG into its purest form, and then just lets you have fun with it. And I think if this ends up being a doable platinum, at least, I mean, we talk a lot on this channel about easy plats, but that's not like my preference of game necessarily. I do like doing easy plats because obviously running a trophy service, I need to be able to offer like super quick platinums that I can do for cheap for people and help them level up through that service. But at the same time, I also enjoy games that, not necessarily like the practically impossible games, but the ones that do offer a decent amount of challenge. I platted a lot of the real hard platinums over the years, most of them on my old account, unfortunately. But I hope this isn't too easy. It's one of those games that I think looks fun, but it also looks like it might just be, if it's so easy that you don't even need to focus on it, then it could end up just feeling like a grind where you're just going through the motions, and those games can get boring. So if a game's really long, I don't like it to be too easy because it just gets boring. Whereas if it's nice and short, then it doesn't matter how easy it is. It's better if it's easy because you can just fly through it and get it done in no time. But yeah, I hope there's like at least a little bit of challenge to this, or at least enough to keep you stimulated and keep you invested, Anyway, pardon me. Let's go back. I feel like I'm shouting for some reason. You may notice I've finally got a pop filter for my microphone, so that's hopefully that's kind of creating a little bit of a better quality. Although I need to get into the habit of not shouting so much. I'm going to keep my volume at the same voice. Keep my voice at the same volume for now, but I'm so used to shouting because I used to have that little clip-on mic. Anyway, I'm getting totally off subject here. We got up to Shantae last week we spoke about, and I could only see the PS3 and Vita versions of this game, and I wondered if it wasn't being released. But I did see, I think it was this one, I did notice earlier that it has got a PS4 release as well. It's Half Genie. Yeah, hang on. Half Genie Hero. Oh no, it was PS4. I must have just misread it last week because I thought it was Vita and PS3. Yeah, cool. So Shantae does have a PS4 release. The Shantae games are like 2D platformers, and they look like an average difficulty. Some of them, or at least let's have a look actually. What are they called? Shantae. Yeah, so we've got Risky's Revenge and Pirate's Curse. Now, I think it was Pirate's Curse that's not too bad. That's like a 4 out of 10. That's considered to be a relatively easy platinum. Risky's Revenge, if I remember correctly, is a lot harder, but it doesn't have a platinum. And then this Half Genie Hero is very difficult to know. We could have a look at it. It's got a low completion percentage on the platinum so far, but it's quite a recent release. In fact, when did it come out? 20th. Okay, so it's not actually out yet. Some people must have... How many people are playing it? Maybe they brought it for, because there's over 135 people on here. So goodness knows how many people... let's have a look. Launches digital. Let's see what this... December 20th. Yeah, who knows? Anyway, there's people playing it, so either they've got an early copy. No, because it's getting a retail release as well. They've probably had it delivered early. So yeah, It's difficult to say, but there is a couple. I think the two trophies that are the lowest percentage are these two down here. I remember that from when I was doing a quick bit of research earlier. So these are both speedrun related trophies. So if you're the kind of person who hates speedruns, I know some of you have mentioned on the channel in your comments before that you hate speedrun trophies, and even on easy games, they kind of often get in your way of earning the platinum. So bear that in mind if you're looking into Shantae, because some of you may be, you know, based on the fact that at least one of the earlier Shantae games was fairly simple. But save the day as fast as possible, so I'm guessing that's complete the game in a certain time. It doesn't actually tell you how long. I mean, it might be... I wonder, it could be, I suppose, that maybe there's a speedrun mode, and it's a case of finishing it as fast as you can, but it doesn't matter how fast you are. But I've got a feeling there's probably a built-in time to beat. It might be a leaderboard in the game that you can view. But yeah, I kind of get the impression that's probably going to be more difficult than previous Shantae games. But if we crack on here, we've got quite a lot. Like I said earlier, we've got quite a lot of games with no platinums this week. A lot of these actually were ones we looked at last week. The first one I want to focus on. This is like the key game from this week, and this is one that we did speak about in the last show last Sunday. And that was Her Majesty Spiffing. Now, we took a look at that. We watched a trailer for it, I think. And I came to the conclusion that it looked like it was going to be super easy and super quick. And I was right. I mean, you know, it's no major skill to guess that a game like this is going to be easy, because it's fairly obvious, you know. But it has ended up being like ridiculously easy and quick. And those of you who've seen my latest video, the end of year awards for the quickest platinums, this came in at 6th place. Now, I mentioned in the video that the only reason it was 6th and not in the top 5 or even the top 3 was at the time it was because I didn't have any experience with it. I knew that it could be finished in an hour, and I was basing that on, at the time, okay, PS4 trophies. Now that's Brian. Some of you know him as Wozamil. Or at least he used to be Wozamil on PSN. He had done it in 58 minutes, so just under an hour, but everyone else was 2 hours or higher. Now that's, you know, at the time I thought, well, obviously it can be done in an hour, but there was no guide when I was making the video, when I was writing the script and recording it all. There was no guide to go by, and because I hadn't played the game myself, I thought, you know, let's make sure that the top 5, at least on my list, are all games that I know personally, that I've completed, that I've platinumed, and some of them are ones that I've even got my own guides up for. So I put Her Majesty Spiffing in 6th place. But now, obviously, a little bit more time's passed, literally like a couple of days, because I only actually wrote the script for those games a few days ago, or for that video. And like I say, at the time, PS4 Trophies had done it in an hour, but no one else had. So I kind of kept it off the top 5 just temporarily. But now I see that this would have actually been like number 3 or 4 on the list, based on the times now, because this is the first time I've looked at it for a bit. And we've got some of the regulars, some of the guys who who always jump on these easy plats. We've got German Pro Gaming, and we've got Nera Hedstrom, who's a friend of mine on PSN. They're always there. They're always like in the top 5, top 10. They get on these games nice and quick, and it's what I would do if I had more time, to be honest. Cornchak hasn't played it yet, but I'm sure he will soon, because I know he jumps on these easy platinums pretty quickly as well. I say he hasn't played it. What I mean is like he's not in the top 50. Maybe he's played it and taken longer, but usually he does show up in the top 5 or 10 as well. Captain Trophs is someone else from PlayStationTrophies.org. Anyway, you can see this is crazy quick, and the best thing about it is I'm going to sort of be shouting out a separate video now. In fact, you'll see here on screen we're literally in the middle of uploading another video whilst recording this one. Oh wow, I've just noticed, holy cow. So I'm getting distracted now. I've just noticed like the views for this the Trophy Awards videos rocketed up, and I've had about 10 new subs in the last half an hour, which is insane. Anyway, what I wanted to show you guys, I always get distracted, don't I? is, let's have a look, Her Majesty's Spiffing. Now I hope there's no problems with showing YouTube in a YouTube video. But what am I after? Oh, there it is. Okay. If you search for, I'm going to just show you. If you search for Her Majesty's Spiffing, yeah, trophy guide. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. That's quite interesting. How is that? That's very strange. I haven't even put Her Majesty's Spiffing in the. This is my video here. I'm going to just pause it. We're not going to watch it, but I just want to see. Sometimes on these videos, it will sense like footage from, or like a screenshot from one of the games that you featured, and it will put in the description, it will link it to that game, and then that will sort of oh, crumbs. Okay, let me just turn this off. Yeah, sorry, that will contribute towards the search results. But for some reason, this top 10 video, even though I don't have... Oh, you know what it is? It's because I've got Her Majesty's Spiffing written in the description. It's not in the search terms. It's not in the keywords, but it is in the description. That's kind of cool, though. A video I've just uploaded is... yeah, that's probably why it's got so many views, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going to give a shout out to PlayStation 4, or sorry, PS4 trophies. This is Brian that we mentioned earlier. He's done a guide already. He seems like he started a new series. Because usually he does like lots of guides for the big games, like the big AAA games that release. So he does, Uncharted and, well, like pretty much all of them. He's like another PowerPix. He does pretty much like as many videos as PowerPix does. I do like him especially because he commentates videos, and I always think that's important. That's why I always commentate my guides. It just makes things a bit easier to follow. But he's got this as part of this new series. He's covering like some of the easier platinums now. The games that can have just one single video that covers every trophy in the game. So that's pretty cool because it gives me some videos to link for my top 10 countdowns and things like that. Gives me some extra guides to link if it's one of the games that I haven't covered myself. Anyway, so this is here. This is like my standout platinum of the week. Of one of the standout platinums of the year. In fact, it's one of the standout platinums of all time. This can be done as quick as My Name is Mayo, which is considered to be possibly the easiest like platinum ever, or at least in the top 3. This is like right up there. This is one of the top 5 fastest platinums ever released. So this year has been crazy. We spoke about this during the Trophy Awards. Like this year's just been absolutely nuts. For those of you who are quite new to trophy hunting, and I know quite a lot of you are because I get a lot of messages on PSN, not PSN profiles, on the PS4, on PSN. I get people saying that I've motivated them to take up trophy hunting. And I get a lot of comments on YouTube videos saying that people are just getting into trophy hunting now, whether it's because they've moved across from Xbox to PlayStation because the PS4 is doing so well, or maybe it's because, they've always been on PlayStation and they've just started caring about trophies. Maybe they've stumbled across some channels like mine. And sometimes it might just be that people are quite young and they've only just got into gaming full stop. But, if you are one of those people who's very new to the idea of trophy hunting, you may not realize how incredible this year's been for easy platinums. We've literally, we've had more easy and fast platinums than any year since trophies began. At least by my memory, by my recollection. I mean, it could be that I'm just focusing more on them, and because we're doing this show, I'm stumbling across more of them. But, back on the PS3, like one of the fastest platinums, or all of the fastest platinums were several hours long, It was unheard of to have a game that would, that you could finish in less than an hour, or even 2 hours, It was games like, oh man, I've forgotten now, what's it called? Oh, there's this terrible game, I've totally drawn a blank on it. Magus, that was it. Just popped into my head. Magus was one of the quickest platinums on PS3. It took a few hours. It was ridiculously easy. It was a terrible game. It was the most basic. It was like a third-person shooter, but you were shooting magic instead. But you had like no other moves. It was literally you would just move through the levels, a bit like on Orc Slayer where you've got the crossbow. You just walk through the levels holding down shoot, and that's what Magus was. But it still took several hours, and that was considered that was amazing at the time. That blew people's minds that you could earn a trophy within whatever it was, like 3 or 4 hours or something. But now, like, the number of games that have come out this year that can be platted in like 1 or 2 hours is insane. It's more than we got in the whole history of the PS3, and they've all come out just this year. So this is one of them, guys. I just wanted to kind of just highlight this one because it looks really good as well. It looks actually quite funny. You know, it's one of those point and click adventures where you can follow a guide, but the trophies don't look too bad to earn on your own. You know, if you don't want to follow a guide, you might have to do a couple of playthroughs and just go back and play through again when you know and understand the game and get any of the trophies you missed on the first time through. But if you want to follow a guide, obviously you'll need to watch Brian's video here. What I usually do, I don't know if you guys do this, I usually whack the speed up. Now the good thing about Brian is, I doubt he's going to watch this, but this I don't know if this is a compliment or what really. But the good thing about him is he doesn't talk too fast. So some people on guides, they're like rattling off stuff. I'm talking quite fast now, but you know, this is a different kind of video. But some people, they'll do a guide and they'll be talking so quickly because they're just trying to talk about loads of other stuff as well, and it kind of confuses people. If you know, when you make a guide, if you don't talk too quickly and you only talk about the important things that are important to the guide to make sure people don't miss anything, then that means that you can speed up the video. Because obviously when you're following a video guide to platinum a game, you might technically earn the plat in a certain period of time, but that time is basically doubled because you're having to watch everything and then do it yourself. So it kind of doubles the time that's required for the platinum. So if you speed up the video and the person is still kind of audible because he's not talking too fast in the first place, like double speed, the commentary when set to double speed can still be understandable as long as the original recording isn't too fast. So that's what I usually do. Just a little tip, which you guys are probably just fully aware of. It's a very basic, everyday thing that people tend to do on YouTube anyway, isn't it? But it just halves the length of the video, so it doesn't add on quite so much time to your platinum. Anyway, let's crack on here. So that's Her Majesty Spiffing, like a 45-minute, super easy, and from what I hear, like I say, it's kind of a good game. The story's quite interesting, or at least funny, you know. I say interesting, I mean, you know, it's a bit of a laugh. It's got a bit of humour about it. I've noticed it's getting dark already. It's like 3:30. The last few weeks have been literally like, it gets dark while I'm recording this, so it becomes noticeable on the camera because I've actually turned off all the sort of anything that adjusts the lighting to kind of compensate for it, because I think that's what's causing the problems with the webcam. Hopefully the webcam footage today is okay. You'll know by now if it's not, because it won't be included if it's messed up. But I tell you what, I've had so much problems, so many issues with the Elgato device. Anyway, where do we get to? Stardew Valley. This doesn't look like an easy plat. I've been reading up about this. Some people have been like commenting and posting on the PlayStationTrophies.org forum for the game, and some of those people have played it on Steam, and they've been talking about one trophy or a couple of trophies especially, which is like an arcade. I forget what it's called. Maybe it's something to beat Journey. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so beat Journey of the Prairie King without dying. Now, it's a real low percentage of people who've beaten the Prairie King at all. Now you can see here, no one's beaten it without dying. That's because no one's really playing it yet. Oh no, there is quite a lot of people playing it. But yeah, you can see a lot of them are time consuming and long-winded. There is a couple of trophies that will potentially require 2 playthroughs. You could, in theory, it's something like, I don't know the game to be able to explain this properly, but it's something to do with like one path allows you to, I think, upgrade your community or something, and then another path you need to save up all your money and buy certain either collectibles or items or something that costs a lot of money. But it would be quite difficult to save up all your money without spending anything, without upgrading your community and that, because you wouldn't be getting access to certain features in the game if you don't spend money on any of that. So, you know, those features, like without having access to those features, it would be difficult to save up enough money to be able to take the other route. So people are kind of people are saying, oh, you could make a save and then do one, then do the other, spend money on the collectible side and then sort of revert back to your uploaded save and carry on with upgrading the community. But to be able to get to that point in the first place where you've got enough money will be quite difficult without having spent any money in the first place. So it seems to me as though it's probably possible, and when a full trophy guide is written, they might have a technique. They might say, right, do this on this day, do this, like give you a proper order of everything that needs to be done so that, you can do both in one playthrough. But I think for now, probably the safest approach, although it's a long game, it does seem like the kind of game that some people spend literally thousands of hours with. I think the safest approach at the moment would be to do 2 playthroughs. That's how I'll do it if I get around to playing it. But it's such a long game. I don't know. It's one that's definitely on my radar. And it sounds awesome. It sounds really good. Everyone's been saying it's brilliant. It's kind of, they've likened it to Harvest Moon. I don't know if you remember the Harvest Moon games, but they've said this is basically what Harvest Moon should have become. This is like the culmination of that style of gameplay done in the right way, like done perfectly. And it looks really, really enjoyable. So I recommend this, but beware. It does look like it's probably going to end up being a super difficult plat because of that game we looked at, which is like an arcade game. And a lot of people are saying they didn't realize you had to do it without dying. And they're basically saying, well, I'm not going to be platting this because of that trophy. So you could always do it on a blank account if you really want to play it and you don't want to wreck your completion percentage on your main account. Where am I going here? Sorry. No, we were on the right page already, weren't we? Okay, my head's all over the place. I think I'm half sleepwalking at the moment. I need a drink. Anyway, we're still covering last week's games, aren't we? I said this would be a quick show today. Adventure Time, the sequel of the Nameless Kingdom. Now this, the Adventure Time games, or at least one of them, was super easy. It's considered to be amongst the easier platinums on PS4. This release though, that's right, I was forgetting for a moment. The reason it's showing up again, because obviously the Finn and Jake investigations, they're the easy ones. That's on PS3 and PS4. Super easy, not like incredibly fast, but not very long either. I think it's like a 10-hour plat or something. But then you've got the Secret of the Nameless Kingdom. The reason that's showing up, 2 new trophy sets are showing up for that on the most recent releases list, is because it's come out in, let's have a look, in Japan, I think. There's a Vita version, and yeah, here we go, look. It came out in 2014, so it's been out for a while. And obviously, it is an old game because it came out before the PS4 was released, and so there isn't a PS4 version of it. I just thought I'd mention it though, because some of you might see this on the list and be like, oh great, another Adventure Time game. But this is actually a 2-year-old... Is that right? Wait, when did the PS4 come out? That was 2013, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry, I got that wrong. It did come out after the PS4 released. Yeah, it did. But there is no PS4 version of this. So when you see it, don't get too excited because this is an old game. It's a 2-year-old game. It came out on PS3 and Vita back in 2014. And for some reason, now it's had a stacking trophy set release like this week or, next week, whenever it is, a Japanese version of the game. So if you've already platted it and you've got a Japanese account, then you've got the option to do it again. But it's not like a new release as such. It's not a new Adventure Time game, and it's not on PS4. Maybe it'll come to PS4, but I doubt it, because I think Finn and Jake Investigations is more recent. That's the more recent game. Yeah, that came out last year. Yeah, okay, so let's have a look here. Now, a lot of this new stuff I really just haven't had time to look at. Battle Garega, though. Crumbs, this has got a high percentage. I didn't notice this. Oh, this is yeah, this looks like another Japanese game. I wonder if this has got similarities with Under Defeat. Actually, saying that, I always think of that as a Japanese game, but it's mostly just because Under Defeat, the HD re-release, got a separate trophy set from Japan. I don't think it was a Japanese game. This looks similar to a game that came out not too long ago, a couple of years back, side-scrolling, I think Japanese sort of side-scrolling shooter, air-based shooter. I don't know what you call them. You know, you're in a plane or ship or whatever. I forget the name of that. It was super difficult. But this one, it's got 50% average completion. It's only got 18% platinum completion, which is still pretty high. I wonder if there's anyone that I know playing it. Let's have a look, actually, because you can usually tell... Yeah, Japanese. It looks like it's a Japanese game because you can usually tell by clicking on people's names when, you know, the people who've played it. And then you can look and see what the flag... Yeah, it's obviously a Japanese release. I may take a look at it. It seems like it's got quite a high completion percentage. I often get the impression that in Japan, I may be totally wrong with this, but I get the impression that they're not as big trophy hunters as us. They're more kind of partly social gamers and partly competitive gamers, but not quite so into the trophy side of things. And so if it's got a high completion percentage and the only people playing it so far are Japanese, then that probably implies that it might be even higher if it came out over here, or at least might be easier if you've got a Japanese account and can pick it up. So that's one to maybe try out. I haven't really got time to look too much into it, but Battle Gorega, Japanese release by the looks of things, potentially easy plat. You know, it looks easier than the last one that came from Japan. Let's see here though, Adventure Story of the Good Old Days. Another Japanese game. Okay, this is, a lot of the story-based Japanese games are super easy. They've got a ton of, interactive novels or visual novels on Vita especially. It had, a Vita version as well. But it does look easy. I wonder, maybe it will get a release over here. Some of you are probably going to inform me in the comments that some of these games are already out over here. I just haven't had a chance to check everything that I would normally check up on. Let's see here, Dex. I think... Was that an easy? I seem to remember that being an easy, but not especially fast platinum when it was on PS4. Yeah, 20%. That's a pretty good percentage. This was one that took a bit longer than the average game. So here, you got most people taking over a day, 2, 3, up to like a week nearly. But it's had a Vita release, so maybe we've got another easy plat or, relatively easy plat on our hands. It is a Vita game, obviously. We focus mostly on PS4 games during this show. We've got quite a few sort of non-plat games, nothing that really stands out to me. I haven't looked at them. There might be some really good games amongst them. I think Bard's Gold, actually, this is one that Kind of Funny Games have spoken about before. Not really in any detail, but, they mentioned that they're going to be playing it. Oh, wow, look at this, Alchemic Joust. That's actually a game that I've been wanting to keep tabs on. This is currently the hardest game, or at least the hardest game based on percentage. One person, I'm guessing that's probably one person, has earned one trophy, or no, 2 trophies. That's insane, man. Maybe it's not playable yet or something. But that kind of answers my question. I'm glad, because that was one of the games that looked kind of quite cutesy, and sometimes you assume that games like that are easy platinums, and I was thinking, is this going to be one that needs to be put on my list for the end of the year? I'm glad to see I didn't miss out on a potential easy plat. Gem Smashers, I don't really know this game very well, but I know it's been on multiple platforms, I think multiple Nintendo platforms. You know what, guys, I'm just going to turn the light on. Okay, I'm back. I do apologise if the light's shining back off the mirror and blinding you. Hopefully it's not. I don't think I'm able to readjust all the settings while I'm recording. Anyway, back to this. Gem Smashes, I don't really know what that's going to be like yet. Sometimes these like cute puzzle games end up being really, really difficult. But who knows? Let's see. The other game, obviously, that's starting this week is The Walking Dead: A New Frontier. That's like season 3. I'm guessing because they're going to keep this going, they've stopped numbering them, but it's basically season 3 of the Walking Dead Telltale series. And as usual, the episodes get released one at a time. They're usually a couple of months apart. It can take anything up to a year for the whole series to come out. So although this will be an unbelievably easy platinum, at least I'm assuming, yep, same structure as usual, literally just complete the game. Episode 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yeah. Is there less trophies than you? No, same amount, isn't it? Yeah, so this won't be available to platinum for a while yet, but it is starting now. So obviously, I guess it's coming out. So let's see. The Walking Dead New Frontier. Oh, pardon me. New Frontier release date. Let's see. So it's coming out on the 20th, so Tuesday. That will be episode 1. I'm looking forward to that. I do enjoy the Walking Dead games. I love the TV series, so I enjoy the games as well. As like from a gameplay standpoint, they're actually lagging behind a bit, because games like Life is Strange, for instance, that's kind of taking the whole episodic adventure game style to a new level. The consequences of your actions in the Life is Strange are more substantial. It does have more of an effect on how your game plays out. I mean, literally, characters can be gone, or I know people die in The Walking Dead, and you can choose, like, does this person die or this person die? But like in Life is Strange, there's characters that are key characters, and like I finished the game with them still in the game, and they were a key member. Like, they had a lot of important scenes. But other people play it, and I didn't even realize, but like the character would die for them right near the beginning, and it totally changed the outcome of everything. So I think they need to catch up a bit. I think this time they are using a new engine, because that's one thing that they've been struggling with, is the engines have been very, like, they haven't updated them for so long that they're just clunky and they don't work very well. And it just feels like you're playing a last gen game, because basically the PS4, like, Telltale adventures don't feel or play any different to the PS3 ones. They're a bit smoother, like the frame rate's a bit smoother, but that's just the hardware being able to manage it more. The actual mechanics of the game are exactly the same. They haven't added any new layers or any more depth to the AI or the story branches or anything. So although the stories are enjoyable, they have got a long way to go to catch up with people like, it was Konami, wasn't it? Konami did Life is Strange, I believe. And it's funny that was the first time they'd done that kind of game, as far as I know. It was the first game in the Life is Strange series, and it kind of, in my opinion, it outdid what Telltale have been doing for years, what they're considered to be like the pros for. But yeah, obviously it's going to be a good game, a good story to follow, and it's out in 2 days, episode 1. What I always recommend is, what a friend of mine does, is he waits until all the episodes are out, because there's such a long wait between each episode that you forget what's happened by the time the next one's released. And so with like Batman as well, but like by the time every episode has released, the price has dropped down as well. So for instance, I paid £25 for the Batman series, Batman Telltale series, and that's a lot of money, but at the time I was like, well, I need to have it, But then I played the first episode, and I haven't had chance or time to play the others, and I've kind of been waiting for episode 5 anyway. And now episode 5 is coming out. I think it's out now, out very soon. The game has dropped right down in price over Black Friday and the digital flash sale. It was loads cheaper. So I could have saved money by just not buying it in the first place and waiting for the episodes to release and waiting for a good price. I am going to double check. Batman, Telltale. Oh, pardon me, I've got like hiccups or something. Episode 5, release date. I think it might be the same day. Oh no, it's already City of Light. December 13th. It's already out, guys. So most of you probably are aware of that already. I did buy it on PS3 during the sales, because obviously you can double up on the platinum. But that's what I recommend. Like, it's always worth waiting for them all to come out before you go spending any money, because you're just throwing money down the drain, really. You're not going to be able to play the majority of the game for like 8 months anyway. So why not just wait until those 8 months are up, get it for half price, and play the whole lot together. We've got here Valentino Rossi, the game Compact. This is really odd. Now, obviously, there's no platinum for this, but I always find this strange that Milestone, I'm guessing it was Milestone that did this, is not telling us. Let's just check. Because what they do, I mean, it has to be, because the whole compact kind of... the whole idea of releasing compact versions of games is a Milestone thing. Yeah, so Milestone, they kind of... they specialize in motorbike racing games, and Valentino Rossi was basically part of their series of MotoGP games, which is like... It's kind of like the Formula One, the official Formula One games, but for motorbikes. And obviously this one was just branded, or at least linked with one of the main riders. But they always, like, after the game's been out for a while, they always release a compact version of the game that doesn't have a platinum, and it's kind of a small, slimmed down version. And it's very strange, because I would totally understand if they brought the compact version out first, and then they brought the full game out, and it was like a demo that people could decide whether they want the full game, and then they can maybe get the full game for cheaper because they bought the compact and like upgrade or whatever. But to release one literally months after the main game has come out, just some random release of a compact version of a game that's been out for ages, it just doesn't, like, I just don't understand it. I don't understand the thinking behind it. There's probably something I'm missing. So if one of you guys knows, you know, Milestone's reason for doing this, let me know. But it's always puzzled me, and I'm probably just being really dumb, and my mind just isn't twigging as to the reason. But there you go, guys. That's basically it for this week, because the rest is just we got some VR stuff, but there's no platinums. It's kind of annoying, actually, because a lot of the VR games are releasing without a platinum. Which is a shame, because they're very expensive. Obviously, it costs a lot to make a game in VR, so they're charging a lot for those games. And then when you buy them, you don't get a platinum. You get like a piddly few hundred points. Yeah, so anyway, this week we've had... Obviously, we've got The Walking Dead starting. We've had the final episode of Batman Telltale series release 5 days ago. That would have been last... What was that, Tuesday? Yeah, this week on Tuesday. And the main release this week that you guys, I thoroughly recommend, apart from the fact that it's quite expensive, is Her Majesty Spiffing. Now, I know it's £14.99 in the UK, and I think it's like $17.99 or $17.49 on the US store. Now, that's quite a lot of money to spend for a like 45-minute long game or an hour long game, you know, just for the trophies. It does look kind of fun. It's not going to be money wasted necessarily. It does look like a laugh. It's got a good sense of humor. In fact, the length of the game is kind of poked fun at. Well, they sort of hold their hands up to it in a kind of comedic way by naming, you know, this trophy here names That's All We Could Afford. So this is the trophy for finishing the game. And obviously, you know, when the game finishes, you have the trophy pop up, and in your mind, you might be thinking, hang on, that was short. And then the trophy pops up with the tagline, That's All We Could Afford. And it like reminds you that these are like a small company. They haven't got a lot of money. They haven't got a big budget. So making a game in the first place is a very expensive, time-consuming task. So they're just reminding you, like, please don't hate on us for not giving you a longer game. We just can't afford to. So you can kind of tell their sense of humor from trophy names like that. But yeah, this is like the key game, key trophy list of this week, and one of the fastest trophy lists of 2016. I don't think I've played anything on my account this week. We usually take a brief look. Oh no, that was it. I did play a little bit of Livelock. A friend of mine came round, and we were getting ready to play some Borderlands to the pre-sequel, because I'm doing that for one of my trophy customers. And I was playing it with him. He's on his account. I've earned the plat and everything on my account, but you know, I've got an order for it, so I was playing it with him because he loves Borderlands. He's only just recently got into it. And while we were waiting for them to download, like the updates to download and the DLCs to install and all that kind of stuff, we started up Livelock. And this is an okay game, you know, it's an easy platinum. If you look at this, we've got like almost 25% completion on the platinum itself. We've got people completing it in like a day. That's probably... Well, this guy's probably done it in one sitting, trying to get to the top of the leaderboard. These guys have probably kind of played some one day and then gone to bed and played the rest the next. So it's probably like 2 8-hour sessions or something. I think... Oh, the other thing I was going to mention, actually. Yeah, just whilst we're here, I will mention this Lara Croft Go thing in a second. But I wanted to have a look... at Livelock. Now, this is a game we spoke about months ago, and it's the one, if you remember correctly, it's the one that's kind of very similar to Alien Nation. It looks very similar, and now I've played it, it does play quite similarly as well. It is more basic. It doesn't have the same level of looting. So you loot like upgrade materials and stuff like that, and then you use that to upgrade your weapons, but you don't, from what I can understand, you don't loot new weapons. You start off with one, you've got 3 slots. You start off with your primary, and then you finally get your secondary and your launcher. So it's a similar kind of structure of weapons as Alien Nation. You know, you've got a primary, a secondary weapon, and then like a big heavy weapon. But you don't then go on to kind of loot loads more weapons and choose the best one. Basically, you stick with those 3, as far as I can tell. And then you choose which one you want to upgrade. You use your upgrade materials and you boost it. Like, you've got infinite ammo with your primary, but then the others you have to pick up ammo for. And then you've got what they call functions, a bit like in... what game is it that names them functions? Transistor, that's it. And they're kind of like perks or upgrades. You choose which ones you want active. And it's just fun. You've got like different abilities. You've got 3 different classes. Each one's got a different ability, just like Alien Nation. It's very, very similar in many ways. But it was a good laugh. And the trophy guide, I think it's a trophy guide, or at least people have voted on the... see, someone's put here, incredibly easy platinum with 50 plus trophies. In fact, no one's replied to this. Just wanted to highlight this for anyone stopping by briefly. Doesn't seem many people know about this, but it's such an easy and quick game to platinum. I know about it, and all you guys know about it. We did speak about this actually probably 6 months ago. Although there's a difficulty related trophy, it's pretty much rendered irrelevant because you have infinite lives. It's not even that grindy of a game either, since you can repeat the final boss over and over to get 40,000 XP in a couple of minutes. Quite fun game as well, so it's not as if you're torturing yourself to just get a platinum. That's actually quite handy. That's quite useful information, because there are trophies for fully upgrading all 3 characters, and you need to... Do you need to complete the game with all 3? I think possibly. Let's just have a quick look through the trophy, shall we? Because if we also check... Let's see here. Check the completion. Yeah, difficulty rating here. I think everyone's voted a 2 out of 10. Yep. You can't not get this platinum since you have infinite lives, and level select makes it easy to pick up any missed collectibles. Oh, there are collectibles, okay. Yeah, I have been picking up stuff. As you go through, you do notice things on the ground, you pick them up. I didn't realise that you had to pick up every collectible. I think some of them just drop from enemies, and then you have to like upgrade that collectible by killing that same enemy a bunch more times or something. Estimated time, this is going to be interesting. There you go, look, 11 to 15 hours. We said about 16 hours, didn't we, across 2 8-hour play sessions. But yeah, check this one out, guys. If you see here, they're quite simple to understand, the trophies. You've got to reach level 30 with all 3 characters, so that's like that whole list done. You don't have to think about anything, just level them all up and you've got 10 trophies already. And then you've got to equip... you can see which ones I've earned just after probably half an hour of play or something. You've got to equip the, they're basically just cosmetic items that you find, and you can equip them in different slots. So you've got a helmet, cape, and alloy, and then have all 3 equipped at the same time. That's nothing. Like, that would just, it's pretty much impossible to miss that, to be honest. Then you've got to decrypt all the master keys and the data cards, or master data cards. I don't fully understand that yet. I think there might have actually been... Lolosec. Which one's that? That is, yeah. Let's have a look at this, because, it will be good to give you guys an idea of what's required for this platinum. I'm zoomed right in for some reason. Let's have a look. Okay, so decrypt all master data cards. Each enemy unlocks a data card. Kill the required number of that enemy to master the data card. Cards and kill count can be tracked in game. Okay, I'm not going to watch this now, but if you do want to find out how to track things in game, if you are playing it, then check this video out. But it's not immediately apparent. Maybe you have to go back into the main menu and go through the options or something. But I don't think there's anywhere in the pause menu that I noticed, because I was keeping an eye out for these data cards. Then we've got destroying 10,000 enemies. Destroy 100 upgraded enemies. They're just enemies that show up every now and again. They kind of glow. Then you've got to complete the story on all 3 different difficulties. So that's another 6 trophies down. This one's a bit odd. We earned the 5 destruction streak. A destruction streak is basically like a combo. So you've got a bar, you've got like a circle in the corner, and it fills up. And when it fills up from getting kills, it goes to ×2 and then ×3, and it slowly drains. But when it drains, it doesn't drop down to 0. It just drops down to the next level down. So if you're on like ×100 and you don't kill anything for a bit, then it will drop down to ×99. And we got up to like 200 or more just in the first couple of levels, and it didn't pop any of the other trophies. So we were kind of, if any of you know the answer to this, actually, it would be handy if you let me know. But we were assuming that maybe you need to reach 100 destruction streak without losing any, because that would kind of imply it's a streak rather than just building it up and then letting it drop down and building it up again. So I'm guessing you need to get to 100 by just like constantly killing enemies without ever letting it drain and drop down a level. So I think that's probably what's required there. We didn't have time to try it out because Borderlands finished installing. We started playing that. Survive 15 minutes in survival OP mission. I think what that means is going into the highest difficulty, and in the highest difficulty setting, there's no respawn. So I'm guessing you just load into any mission and just stand there and kill anything that comes along, and that will probably be super, super easy. Completing the game, you only have to complete the game on hard, and that's the level down from Survivor, which is the kind of no respawn difficulty. Then you've got all these collectible things, which I have been like collecting stuff as I go through, but it might be a case of going back through. I don't really know whether they're things that drop or whether they're on the ground or what, but it's going to be interesting. I think some of them are just story-based things. So like when you start a new level, we'll play an audio log or something, and that will count towards it. Then we've got to collect 2,500 carbon. That's what you use to upgrade your weapons. And then we've got some co-op stuff. So you will need, there's no split screen. There's no couch co-op for this, which is really weird. And I don't understand that, because it's an ideal game for couch co-op. But you do have trophies here where you need to complete a game with 3. Singular. Complete a co-op mission on singular difficulty without reprinting. I think singular is hard. Because they've got easy, normal, hard, but then each difficulty's got a different name as well. And I think singular is hard because it says without reprinting. So it's not going to be the survivor difficulty because you can't reprint on survivor. So you need to complete one on hard difficulty without anyone dying. And then you need to complete one with 3 players where each one is using a different class. So, each of the 3 classes are represented in your team. And then the other one is where you're all using the same class. So it looks, it is going to be a super easy plat, and it looks quite enjoyable. It's only had 600 odd players, and it's been out for several months. But yeah, check this one out, guys, because I enjoyed my time with it. It's quite simple, but, it looks quite nice. It's a kind of lower budget game, I think. Who's it by? Publisher Perfect World Entertainment, and developed by Tuke Games. So yeah, it's obviously not like a big budget game, because I don't recognize either of those names. But it's fun. It's worth checking out. The other thing, just to mention quickly, is that Lara Croft Go has now got a platinum walkthrough on PlayStationTrophies.org. So you've got a walkthrough for all of the different sections now. Blaze Naruto Shippuden is very good with these. He does a lot of guides. It is quite early. He's only just put it up, and he is going to be proofreading it. I left him a message on here saying that I'd been following it, and there are some mistakes. And also it's difficult because a lot of the, most of the inputs are up, down, right, left. But because it's like at an angle, sometimes it's difficult to know exactly what's meant by going right. And what he means is to press right and whichever way it goes when you press right, that's the way you need to go. But because you're using the analog stick, it's very easy to accidentally press right and very slightly down. So it takes you in a different direction. It can confuse you a bit. But it's one of those games, obviously, it's got a hint system, and the hint system takes you through each level. Literally, it doesn't allow you to go anywhere but the direction you're meant to go. The only downside of using the hint system is if there are collectibles in the level that you need to go out of your way to find. Most of them are clear on screen. You just hover your cursor over them and pick them up. Even if you don't have to walk over to them with Lara Croft. You just need to move your cursor that's separate from her, move it over it, and you don't even have to press anything. It just grabs the collectible. But some of them will require you to maybe like move certain pieces of equipment or press certain, like pull certain levers or whatever to make certain collectibles appear. But to be honest, I think the best approach to this, if you're playing Lara Croft Go, is to follow, literally like follow the hint system that will take you through each level, but have this guide open. So for instance, on the first level, you'll see that there's 2 collectibles. So just make sure that you grab both of them. You don't even need to follow the step-by-step guide. Just read it. And if it says like it's well hidden or something, maybe read it a bit more carefully. But generally, they'll be right there on screen. You'll need to look around. It's a bit like Where's Wally, but you will find them. And it's just like having this open helps you know how many collectibles there are in any given section. And some of them, obviously, some of the levels are split into several sections. So for instance here, this bit here is one section. So if you do Control F and search for doorway, the term doorway always shows up between sections. Because what happens is when you turn the hint system on, it puts you back at the start of whatever section you're in, and then you can't turn it off. So for instance here, you'd look at this, you'd search for doorway, it would show up here, you'd think, right, this section ends here. So I need to look out for a collectible near the end of this section before going through the doorway. And if you can't see the collectible, just read what it says. You might be able to, it might be that it's hidden, and if it is hidden and you do need to do something specific, you could always restart that section and follow this guide rather than the hint system. But, however you want to approach it really, just remember you can't sort of go off the trail if you are following the hint system. But it's probably quicker to have the hint system on, just grab as many of the collectibles as you can, and then just go back and grab any that were more well hidden than, just didn't allow you to access them on your first playthrough. And then obviously there's some specific trophies. He's put all them in here, like some of the blue tech, like here, that's the trophy unlocking in blue tech. Some of them are more miscellaneous trophies, and he explains how to get them. But yeah, he is going to be sort of tidying it up a bit, or at least like proofreading it, because there are a few like actual incorrect inputs. So if you do follow the guide, just be aware that you might need to kind of adjust things in your own mind to make up for slight errors. And it's very easy. I mean, I don't kind of blame him, because when you've got literally thousands of images to put in of these little thumbnail kind of button pictures, or whatever you want to call them, it's so easy to put in the wrong code for one of them, or put them in the wrong order, or like when you're editing them, just get it very slightly wrong, and it kind of throws everything off. So he's done very well for the fact he got this up pretty quick. So once you select proofread it, you'll be able to literally go through and just press these buttons in the order he tells you to and get all of the trophies. I just wanted to point out that there was an option of a guide to follow, even if it does need a little bit more work. Alright guys, so I actually don't know how long it's been today, but I feel like it's probably been shorter than usual. There's one last thing I want to mention before we go. In fact, a couple of things. I mentioned about Cornshack's channel at the start, didn't I? Yeah, make sure you subscribe to Cornshack. If there are any games we've discussed today that, it's not really been many that we have discussed, to be honest, but usually there's quite a few sort of unknown titles, and quite often he's one of the only people to have played them, so it's worth checking out his channel. The other thing was that I've set up on the PS4, I've set up a community. Now, a lot of you know about my Overwatch community, which I set up when I was doing the Overwatch trophy guides, and it was there to help people meet others to be able to work on trophies together. I've also unlocked a few weeks ago now, it was a while ago, and I keep forgetting to mention it, so I'm mentioning it now. I've opened a community just just the Stay Patient community. It's called Stay Patient Trophies. You can go onto my PSN account on the PS4 and just look under my profile, and it will have all my communities there. And yeah, join it. It's just like an excuse for all you guys to have somewhere to like meet up if you want to talk to like-minded people, if you want help with trophies. I mean, not like directly from me necessarily, but I do poke my head in every few days, or like whenever I get a chance to sign into my account and take a look at what's going on, you know, answer any questions that I can answer. And for the most part, it just looks like it's quite active. I set it up and I sent out invites to the people on my friends list at the time. Obviously, over the last few weeks, I've had hundreds and hundreds of new friends add me. But, you know, I sent out invites and it's got, I don't know, maybe couple hundred people in it. So now I've mentioned it to you guys, you've got to jump in. It's free to join. You don't need to wait for an invite. You don't need to ask permission. It's literally just click on it and you'll be in. So it'd be a nice way of all you guys meeting up. A lot of you probably feel like you know each other through the comment sections and things like that. And I know that I'm glad to see that this channel tends to attract a nice group of people. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you'll comment on someone else's channel. I think I made a comment once on, what's he called? Hakoom. You guys know Hakoom. He's like one of the highest ranked trophy hunters in the world. I made a comment on his, and like I could tell from the replies that people were just nasty. Like people had very short fuses and just like every other word's a swear word. And I was like, whoa, this kind of tells me a lot. It kind of gives me an impression of Hakoom, which might be fair, might not be. But you can kind of tell a lot about someone by the people that they attract or the people that are drawn to them, if you know what I mean. So I'm really glad to see that all of my viewers basically have been super nice. I've seen over the last couple of days that people have been helping each other out, trying to get the glitch to work on Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The glitch was patched, the one that helps you with No Man's Sky, Mile High Club. And it was patched, but there is a way of working around the patch, and you can kind of do the glitch in a very slightly different way that does still work. And because I've been so busy, I wasn't able to answer people's questions about it. But I noticed that a lot of my viewers were on there sort of helping others through the trophy. And I felt really proud of you guys. You know, I'm really happy that it's people like you that are drawn to the channel. So that's why I say, you know, the community is going to be a great place for you to meet like-minded people. In other words, people who are trophy hunters, but who are probably, you know, up for helping you, answering your questions. It's going to be a nice little community. We've already built a nice little community here on YouTube, and we can kind of carry that across to the PS4 itself, because we're not always on the internet, are we? We're often on our consoles, and it's just going to be a nice way of being able to communicate with me and also the other subscribers of the channel when you're gaming. So there we go, guys. That's under my profile, Stay Patient Trophies Community, or whatever it's called. I want to say thank you very much for watching. I am going to be uploading, or I may have probably already uploaded by the time you're watching the review of the FIFA deal, and also a look at the Battlefront deal, which is quite cool. You know, they've got that up this weekend. And then obviously there's another deal tomorrow. But for the most part, I'm going to be working on the trophy awards over the next, well, I've got a lot of work to do, but after like this week or maybe the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be putting up the rest of those videos. And remember, if you've seen my first trophy award video, just remember that, crumbs, what was I going to say? Yes, I'm going to be running my first giveaway. So keep your eye on the channel, make sure to hit the bell notification next to the subscribe button, because I'm going to upload a video explaining how you can enter that competition. And then, you know, you want to be able to see that straight away, because there might not be a lot of time for you to be able to do so, depending on how long it takes me to make the video that is related to the giveaway. It'll all be explained soon enough. But yeah, there you go, guys. Thanks for a great year. It's not over yet. Still a few videos to go before it draws to a close. Looking forward to 2017, though. Cheers for all your support. Hope you have a great week, and I'll catch you very soon. Cheers, guys.